everybody, my name is Asher and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I have not done a video since month 6. Sorry about that. Reason for that has been an array of issues, mostly from the election going really not the way that we were hoping for, and that's really had me kind of down in the dumps. Also, just holidays, I started working a more traditional job again, so it's just been kind of hard finding the balance to make these videos and still be able to do those other priorities in my life as well. So I am figuring out that balance and hoping to get more videos out this year and more subjects than just a transition update, especially as things kind of settle into a rhythm in my changes and there's not anything drastic, too drastic that comes up. So hopefully I'll be moving into more subject matter. For example, my wife would like to perhaps get more involved, and we are trying to plan doing a kind of a Q&A between her and I, being a person who previously has only really dated and been attracted to women, and actually being 100% behind me and wanting me to be more myself and love myself better so that I can love her better, and how that attraction to me hasn't changed in a negative way at all. If anything, it's gotten better, and how that's kind of progressed in our life. She'd just like to be a part of that. But we can't really do that without your help. So if you have any questions for her, if you have any questions for the both of us, or how we relate to each other, or how we've been getting through this process of pre-transition to kind of where I'm at now, anything like that, whatever you're actually interested in knowing, please, I need your help with this one, guys. Just put it in the comments below, any questions that you have, and we will put them together and try to do a Q&A that answers the questions you want to hear. So thank you so much for doing that. If you do, no pressure, no obligation. It would just really help, and would give you the opportunity to be included in the videos a little more directly. So thank you so much.
What do you want for dinner?
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Why don't you roll the dice? See what it says. We have this dice when we can't decide what we have to eat. She got it for Christmas. And, yeah. What does it say?
Wild card.
Wild card? It's not an answer. Roll it again.
Pizza.
Pizza?
Pizza.
That does not roll with the whole diet thing. I would love pizza, though. What's your favorite pizza?
Breakfast.
What?
Breakfast for dinner.
Breakfast for dinner. We can make that healthy. That sounds good. Okay.
Well,
sounds
with
good.
the price of eggs at the moment.
The price of eggs, yeah. Tell me about it. And the economy's only getting worse. Anyway, thank you, sweetheart. I am doing a video, though. We good?
Okay.
Yeah? Yep. Okay. Be creative. Love you.
Love you too.
First up, we always do the voice changes. And, yeah, since the 6-month video, I do believe that it has changed and gotten a bit deeper. It's a lot less scratchy than it was. It's kind of settled. Consistent. That's the word I'm looking for. It feels more consistent. And when it comes to my singing voice, I have a little bit more of a range again. So I'm actually getting up into those higher tenor zones again. And that, you know, I think the lowest I can go is a mid bass. I have to look at the actual, like, tones, but I don't recall it off the top of my head. Anyway, moving on. I felt like before my 5th shot, the tonality of my voice went up a little bit again. just because you stop taking tea, or if you're low on your tea levels, it's not going to suddenly change your voice back to female. Once your voice is changed, your voice is changed. It's never going to be what it was. But from my experience so far, every time my levels have dropped down right before I'm supposed to have my next shot, my voice does go up a little bit, which I think feminizes my voice more than I would like. And I noticed that a lot last week before I had my fifth, and I was not happy. I was having some dysphoria about my voice kind of going up again. Speaking of voice changes, I don't know if this gets talked about often enough in the trans mask community, but I haven't been through it myself. But in Australia, as part of the doctor's plan for gender dysphoria, both for trans men transitioning and trans women transitioning, speech pathology can be included in that to help you learn how to speak into a lower register, or for trans women into a higher register. And if you're concerned about your voice, even pre-transition, and you're trying to get it to drop into as low a range as you can, look into that. Look into speech pathology. Find the YouTube videos of free speech pathology videos that'll teach you how to speak from here and not from here. And that will help, because if it's not comfortable or natural for me, but if I tried real hard, I could speak from up here. But technically, I can go that high, right? Just like a trans woman could learn to speak from up here so that it sounds more feminine. I technically can as well. And when you sing, you learn how to use the full range of your vocal cords. So that's how I know I can feel it up here, and I can change that tone, but it isn't natural for me to speak up here in my vocal range anymore. It feels more natural. It feels good, for it to kind of hum from my chest more than anything, and that's why my voice is so low. Even before transition, I spoke as low as my vocal cords would allow, which was probably about here, in this kind of section. Now that I can get all the way down in my chest, and that's why it's so deep. So if that's something you're interested in, practice that. Practice on really dropping that tone into your chest from here to here, and that will help stretch those vocal cords better, for you. Body hair. So body hair. I don't know why I'm laughing about this, because I like that there has been changes in the body hair area. I was wondering in what ways it would. I didn't know if the Native American side would kind of come through and I wouldn't actually get a lot of body hair, or if my dad's side or the German side would come through and I would get a lot of body hair. And it turns out it's definitely the more body hair side of things. So like the hair on my legs, I've never had hair on my knees before, not to this extent. And it goes all the way up, and it's even starting to climb up my stomach a little bit towards my chest. I have noticed a few chest hairs that, because they're so sporadic, I'm not a huge fan of them right now. But I am a fan of the fact that they are coming in, because it shows that my levels, that the testosterone in my system is processing, and it's doing its job. My facial hair growth has really started to come in well. My wife's noticed, and other people have noticed. They said that, oh, it's not really patchy at all. And I'm like, yes, I am very lucky. I don't know if it's just genetics. This is anecdotal. I know that there are studies out there that say there's no evidence to say that the more often you shave, the more it grows in. This is true. That's not what it is. What it is when you shave, it blunts the edges of the facial hair itself, which makes it appear more full. It makes it appear as though it is growing in faster. It's not that it necessarily is, it just looks that way. Well, as a trans man, some of us are trying to pass. We want to look like we have a good amount of facial hair. It helps us pass better. It helps hide some of the feminine features that might still be there, especially if you're, pre-T and you are genetically, luckily, predispositioned to have some facial hair as a woman. Um, cool. Good on you. Shave. If you want to shave, it's not going to hurt you. It's not like the hair is not going to grow back. If the follicles are there, they will grow back. And yeah, you shouldn't worry about that. So go ahead and shave all you want to. Don't worry, the hair will come back and the edges will be blunter, and therefore it will appear more full. But my facial hair tends to be coming in really well. Like, there's far more dark hairs than there are blonde hairs. I shave every week, and usually I'm going from I'm trying to keep it at 5 millimeters, 5 to 5 millimeters long, 5 to 5.5 millimeters long on my little trimmer. And I used to do 3 millimeters, first it was 2 millimeters, then it was 3 millimeters, because the hair was so patchy and there wasn't enough dark hairs to warrant letting it grow out any further than that. Otherwise, I just looked scraggly and ridiculous. And now I'm up to keeping it at about a 5 millimeter length, 5 to 5.5, because the dark hairs have come in more. And I get comments, oh, it's not even patchy. And I'm like, well, that's because I manscape. So I have a stencil that I use that allows me to keep it even on both sides. And I'm getting rid of the patchiness, and I keep the stuff that's full. And that might be something you want to try as well, as getting a stencil or really looking at the way the hair is coming in, and shave the patchy stuff, keep the good stuff, but just keep shaving it, trimming it, so that you get those blunt edges to make it appear more full. And that's what I'm doing, and it seems to be working. I also use a derma roller a couple of times a week to open up the follicles. But that's what you're waiting on, and that's why the science says you can't grow facial hair any faster by shaving. What you have to wait for is for the hair follicles to activate and actually be there. Derma rollers and shaving can exfoliate the skin, which just makes the pathway for those follicles easier to reach the surface. It's not going to make them appear. It's just allowing it to come through, I think, a bit easier. So that's anecdotal. I know that there isn't any science behind it, and some people might really blow up my comments saying I shouldn't be saying what I'm saying, but I'm telling you, not just from my own experience, but other people, other men that I am friends with, they all are backing me up on this. Derma rollers help with collagen development, which reduces the chance of wrinkles and reduces coarse skin. It helps to exfoliate the hair follicles that are coming in, that are there. So it just makes you feel better. It makes you, as a person who might experience dysphoria for not having facial hair, it helps to make you feel like you're doing something to help bring it in. And if you end up having great results because of genetics, or because you're doing what I've suggested, or Just because you found a technique that works for you, that's really all that matters, right? Is that you feel better about yourself and about your progress. So those are the tips that I have to share with you. Next, we have hair loss or change in hairline. So I have looked at some of the comparisons between the pictures from before I started transitioning to now. And I'd say that the changes in the hairline have not been that much, to be honest. I feel like, I don't know if it's because of the, well, there's a little bit. No, because there's hair all up here. It's gone back a tiny bit there, I think. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit right here. But nothing too extreme, and is kind of like my father's hairline. This my father's hairline goes back here. But he still has long hair like on the top and everything. So I suspect that if I'm going to have a reduced hairline, it'll be very similar to his, since I seem to be taking after him in every other way. So I think that that's what's gonna happen with that is the hairline will recede a bit, but that might be it, because it's not even really thin on the top anymore. Now I don't know if it's genetics that's happening. I don't know if it's because of my hair care routine that I do, which is a product that helps just to reduce the loss of hair and helps to stimulate the hair follicles to continue to grow. And I just decided that I was going to do that right out of the gate, because my hair has always been kind of, it's been one of those things that's kind of important to me and what I like about myself, and what I've always kind of liked about myself. I haven't always been happy about the length of the hair that I've had to have from time to time, but in terms of its styling and whatnot, ever since I was able to start cutting it short when I turned 18, I take a little bit of pride in my hair, and so I don't want to. I want to go for as long as I can before I lose it. So I'm doing everything I can to keep that day as far away as possible, the losing of it anyway. Yeah, I'm just grateful that my hair really hasn't changed that much. So yeah. Next up, we have the Adam's apple. So as you can see, there's really no change in the Adam's apple area. No. Not that you can see. If you feel on it, it's firmer. I can feel something moving when I talk up and down in there, and it is firmer, but it's not visible, and that's okay. My neck itself, though, has really kind of masculinized a bit, and so that it makes up for it for me. So I'm fine with that. I didn't need an Adam's apple to deal with my dysphoria. So if it had come in, I would have been like, oh, cool. But if it doesn't, it doesn't, and it could still maybe eventually. It's not set in stone. I'm not fully developed in my transition yet. It's only been 9 months, and my levels have not been up in the 20 nanomils per liter squared, or whatever the number is. That, yeah, my levels are not where they're supposed to be yet. So things could still happen. Changes could still come. Changes that are only supposed to take a year might come a bit later for me. And yeah, so I'm almost half of where I should be, halfway to where I should be. And it's only 9 months. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if anything else is going to drastically change, or if things will just naturally progress over the next couple of years, and we'll just see those changes develop as I do more videos that are another subject matter. So we'll just have to take that journey together. I appreciate you coming on this journey with me. So there's that. Adam's apple. Bones and face thickening. So again, if you look at some of the pre-transition and early transition photos and videos, I think you'll find that my face has changed a little bit. My brow kind of comes out over my eyes a bit more. My jaw has kind of changed a little bit. To me, it feels like it comes out a bit more. I'm a bit more squarey in some areas. My chin, my ears haven't really grown. My nose, but yeah, it's just like through here, and through here, I think has changed the most. My cheekbones don't seem, I think just the fat redistribution is changing, because I don't feel like my cheekbones have, obviously they haven't dropped. My skull is my skull, but it's just yeah. I feel like a lot of the water weight has kind of come out of my face a little bit, which is a relief, because I was getting a little round there for a minute. The weight on the scale hasn't really changed, but the look of things is changing. So I think the fat redistribution and the water weight issue might be getting, it's just different. So it's starting to change. Other areas of growth is continuing at its own pace. We'll just leave it at that. Coarser skin. So I've noticed that my shoulders are weird. My shoulders have this strange, like bumpiness to it, and it's almost like the hair follicles are angry or something, because it gets really, really bumpy and just kind of icky. And so I've started to use a moisturizing lotion on them, and that seems to help a lot. Helps kind of calm things down and cut a lot of the redness out, and the coarseness of it is calmed down a bit. But in terms of everything else, it might be because I use moisturizer. I do use some lotions. I do things to help keep my skin a little bit softer, and therefore the coarser skin thing hasn't hit me. I know that might be a side effect of testosterone treatment, but I haven't actually had that much myself yet. In fact, the other day I had a friend, she like reached out and touched my arm for some reason. I don't remember why. And she was like, "Oh," I was like, "What?" and she goes, "Your skin's really soft." And I was like, "Okay, cool." Thanks. I'm glad. So, yeah, so I guess, no, my skin hasn't really gotten any coarser. Oh, yeah, back to the hair thing real quick. I have hair growing, like, on the inside-ish part of my arms. That's just weird. I look at it every once in a while, and I've had a lot of hair on my arms my entire life. It's always been really, really blonde. But on this inside section, I've started to see that a lot of it's getting dark, and like dark brown, and starting to come on the inside of the arm here instead of being just on the top. So that's been interesting. That's very, very different and interesting. And I don't not like it, but I can't say like I love it either. It's just one of those things that kind of goes, oh wow, my body really is changing. So it's euphoric in the way of saying, okay, wow, my body is changing. Like this is pretty cool. But the change itself isn't necessarily what's causing the euphoria. It's just that the change is happening. Next, we have muscle mass. So with muscles, they are growing. I do exercise at least 3 times a week, but I think from the exercise and just the natural, what naturally happens with testosterone in your body is your muscles produce additional layers of muscle just on their own. So then when you add exercise on top of that, you're helping to produce that muscle. What I mean by adding layers of muscle, I mean like you don't naturally bulk, but you'll notice that the muscles themselves just become firmer. So then when you work out, that's when you have muscle growth. If you're eating enough protein and you're actually like doing the muscle workouts appropriately, then you'll build. But you'll notice that the muscles themselves actually get firmer. So when I say that there's an additional muscle mass on the body scanners, it shows that there's definitely an increase in muscle mass almost every week. Even if it's just a little bit, it happens. The chest area is what I've really noticed. I've when I've not been able to really look in mirrors for years, for any length of time, or for any just to like see my body and its progress. I haven't really been able to look in mirrors in that way in a ever. And I did actually look at my body in the mirror at the gym when I was doing my weightlifting, and I looked and I was like, whoa, where did that come from? And there are these pec muscles that you could see on the top, because I wear an exercise binder. It's a binder that's approved for working out in, and unfortunately it doesn't, because I am larger chested, it doesn't hide everything. So where there are additional sections, I just ignored that and focused on just what was up here in the pec section. And I was like, whoa, where did those come from? And there's actual definition of pec muscles there now. And that's new. That's only been in the last couple of weeks that I noticed that. So that was good. That was really good to see. And I was really, really happy with that. Next up, we have the fat redistribution. So with the fat redistribution, everything is going to my stomach. Everything. If there's any fat I've had anywhere in my body, it's all going there. And I am not a fan of that. That is the dysmorphia part of my issues. It's not just dysphoria, it's dysmorphia. And I think that happens for a lot of trans people, is there's a mix of both. But anything that really made me feminine is starting to diminish. So like my glute area is decreasing in size. Thank God for that. And my thighs themselves are decreased in size quite a bit. Building muscle in those areas, I think, might be helping a little bit to shred some of the fat in that area. It's not just redistributing. And that's the other thing, is exercise and eating well. Those help with, cutting fat through your body. So that's at least a plus. And then like fat from my arms is slowly going away, but also from the chest area. It's all starting to go to my stomach. So the only way you can really deal with that is you can't target a particular area just by exercising. It's your whole system. Losing weight is 70 to 80% diet. So we're improving our diet. That'll help cut the fat. That'll help cut, obviously, if the fat's all stored in your stomach, it's gonna get rid of it in that area mostly, right? Hopefully. I'm hoping. But yeah, so my wife keeps saying, well, just remember you're a teenage boy, and teenage boys fluctuate, and you're gonna even out eventually. Just have hope, keep doing the right thing, and it'll work itself out. So I have that to hopefully look forward to if I keep doing the right things. Acne is a definite problem. it's an ongoing battle. So even if I don't change my routine at all, my, face wash and treatment in the morning, my face wash and treatment in the evening, moisturizer in between. I don't know if it's because I'm outside in the Australian weather all the time now and sweating a lot, or what have you, but the acne issue is real. And yeah. it's There are days that I'm perfectly fine and everything seems to be working itself out and the treatment's working and the acne's getting under control, and then I wake up the next day, or by the end of the day, I'm like red and breaking out all over the place again. So I think it's definitely acne is usually created by one, hormonal, and two, if you have it's a buildup of oils in your pores. That's why you're supposed to moisturize. So if you moisturize, you're automatically like producing hydration in those pores. You're less likely to produce the oil in the excess oil in the pores that causes acne. So if you aren't moisturizing and you have an acne problem, go get a good moisturizer and start moisturizing, and it will help reduce your acne. But if I didn't moisturize and I didn't have a routine, I'd probably be broken out like crazy, because I also have to consider that some of this acne might actually be irritated hair follicles, because I am growing facial hair so rapidly that there could be irritants with that, because I noticed that wherever I break out in acne, I suddenly will get a lot more facial hair in that area. So it could be a combination of irritated facial hair follicles and hormonal acne. Also, Reandron 1000 is 4 milliliters of castor oil shoved into your body all at once. And that alone produces severe oily skin and excess oil in all of your pores, which increases your likelihood of acne for a short period of time. And that I can verify is absolutely true, at least for me. Might not be for everybody, but it is for me. The menses are gone still. No issues. Completely clear of that. Have been clear since my second shot. So I've been clear since I was 7 weeks on testosterone. So all is well there. Other driving forces have increased into a healthy, normal, healthy level. Okay, my overall general mood. Now that this video is getting much longer than, once again, intended. If you've lasted this long, thank you so much. I love and appreciate you so much. So when my levels are low, I am low. I am tired, and I don't emotionally regulate as well. And I'm more easily irritable. When my levels are good, I am good. I'm nice and even, and I have really good emotional regulation. And if I get a little irritated, that's okay, because I've overcome it pretty well. And I don't really have any severe problems at all when my levels are good and normal and I'm up to date on my shot. And yeah, depression is under control, anxiety is under control. But just before when I'm due for my shot, probably 2.5 weeks, 2.5 to 3 weeks before my shot is due, is when it hits. And I can tell because I get really, really tired, and my wife says I get bitchy. And I don't doubt that. So this time around, they wanted me to do my blood work the couple of days, if not the day of my shot. my when I was due, because they want to see how low I'm actually getting. And if I am far too low, because my testosterone levels seem to impact my mental health, or have an impact on my mental health so much, they don't really want to risk me constantly dropping super low. It's not good for my body. It's not good for my brain. Um, it's just not good. It's not a nice feeling overall. And anybody on testosterone will tell you that when they're low on T, or when they're about due for their next shot, man, they cannot wait for it to come, because of how much better they feel afterwards. And I'm no different. So it's a process. So I did my shot right after I did my blood work, and 4 days later, which is today, I feel tremendously better. The first few days, I'm like, I am tired and I want to take more naps, which is really unusual for me, and that's how I know my body is changing and growing and going through its thing. And I think that might be happening more because I'm dropping so low, and then suddenly I go high again in my levels. So it's like it's re-kickstarting my puberty every time. And it won't, they say that it won't always be that way. That when I'm steady, my levels are steady, um, it'll be a lot better and a lot smoother, and I won't have that like tired for the first 3 days. I'll be nice and steady. So I'm looking forward to that day. But yeah, the first 3 days are always kind of tiring. Today, though, I feel great. I don't have I'm not having like the afternoon drop. I feel really good. So back to good, positive, normal me. And that's what I want these videos to be. Is I want them to be more positive. There's a lot of negativity going on in the world regarding trans people, and Australia is apparently no different. Up in Queensland, we have had some bad news up there, where hormone treatments for people under the age of 18 have now been suspended as well. So that sucks. And we are doing everything we can to keep that from happening on a national level. We're hoping for the best, but I live my life from a place of hope for the best and plan for the worst. And for me, that works. It works to keep me positive and hopeful, because if the worst happens, well, I've already prepared for it. So if anything is better than that, it's like a gift, right? And it feels fantastic. When something is as good as what I had hoped for, then it's just complete elation, right? Totally a euphoric or joyful or joy-filled emotion and feeling and experience. So that's how I live my life, and it keeps me on the optimistic side, glass half full kind of thing, with an eye on the horizon. And yeah, I feel like if you can live your life from that way, you just are generally happier and more resilient. So yeah, those are my 2 cents on that. Let's stay positive as best we can, plan for the worst, hope for the best, and do what we can. We have an impact as individuals. I think that we need to keep boosting the positivity and the hope. We acknowledge the bad. Like, we know it's not good. We know it's bad. We know that it might not get much better for a while. But with most things, healing and betterment, things get worse before it gets better. And I think that when the world comes out of the insanity that it is experiencing right now, when we come out of that and back into the goodness and light and love and acceptance and inclusion, when we come back into the 21st century, we're going to experience a great beautiful age of humanity. We just got to get through this chaos for right now. So I will keep putting out content because that's what we need. We need to show that trans people, we exist. You can make it hard for us to transition. You can make it hard for us to exist as our authentic selves in documentation, but we're not going to go anywhere. We've always existed. We're going to keep existing. We don't just disappear because you say, oh, there's only two sexes. Like, no. Sorry. There might be, well, technically we have intersex too. So we might have different number of sex assignments, but there are different genders, and that's a fact. That is a scientifically proven fact. So you can say what you want, but that is the truth. And if you don't believe me, go look it up, because there are true scientifically driven real research out there that's not put out by these propagandists telling you otherwise. It's available to you. All you have to do is look it up. I encourage anyone and everyone to just love one another as best you can. Even love the people that don't agree with you. Love the people that hate you. You don't have to love them in person. You can love them from afar. That's totally fine. But the only way to combat hate is to love. You cannot combat hate with hate. It doesn't work that way. Only love can produce love. Only understanding can produce understanding. Only acceptance can produce acceptance. And that means that we have to be, I know it sounds cliche, but we do have to be the bigger people here. We have to show people the way we want to be treated. And we have to respect ourselves in the way that we expect to be respected. That means not lowering ourselves to the same level as all of these people that want to hate on us. That means rising above. But it also means having hard conversations, having conversations like this. Like saying, here's the research. Here's the article. This is my actual experience. You can say I don't exist, but I'm sitting right in front of you. Having conversations with your partners or your family or your friends and bringing it up to them and say, this is a serious issue for me. This is a safety issue for me. But there are other YouTubers out there. There's one in particular, Arthur, that just brought it up, and he pointed out, you can still change your name. You might not be able to change your gender marker, but you can change your name on the most important things. And most people are just going to look at your name. Most aren't going to bother with the gender bit, except for maybe on your passport if you're traveling internationally. You can change your picture and you can change your name. Those are the two things that will clock you the most, right? Your name and your picture. The gender marker bit, when you're traveling internationally, can be a problem. But you can also, as he pointed out, bring a letter from a doctor saying you have gender dysphoria, you're going through treatment, that's why your gender marker looks different than what you appear to be. That's it. That's all you need. So we can exist in the world that is being created by the trumpets. We can exist in that world and still be safe and still be okay. Because when you're going to the bar, most people aren't looking at the gender thing. They're looking at the date of birth. That's really all they're looking at. Nothing else. They look at a picture and a date of birth. So if your picture is matching, what difference does it make? Nobody's really going to look. I'm not going to get into all the other details. I don't think focusing on the fear of it and the fear mongering of it all is conducive to peace, or even conducive to resiliency. And that's what is being tested, is how resilient is our community. And if we give up and we give in, then we will suffer as a community. Fight it, but fight it from a place that's healthy. Fight it from a place that's from love and self-respect. And I know that's easier said than done, but I do live it, and I am here. So, I know, again, sounds cliche. If I can do it, you can do it. I am with you. I don't have any of my documents changed, and I'm in Australia. Changing my name and my picture, I mean, I have to hire a law firm to do that. I can't do it by myself. And in the current climate, that's going to be really hard. So I have a passport that looks nothing like me now. I have a name on there that I no longer relate to. And on my work documents, same thing. I have a name I no longer relate to that I have to keep writing down every day on work documents when I really should be putting down Asher. And it causes confusion. I'm glad that I work for a company that's so open-minded and has employees and leaders and managers that are open-minded. That's where I'm blessed. But I still have to face like every day-to-day workers that end up seeing those sign-on sheets going, who is this person? And then them looking, and the boss saying, oh, well, that's Asher. And then them looking at me and looking at the name, and then looking at me and looking at the name, because I have a name that's really, really feminine. And they're just like, wait, what? And I'll be like, just ignore the fact that you ever saw that name. Just it doesn't exist. And they'll be like, yeah, okay. And they just kind of go with it. And that's uncomfortable, and I hate it. I don't want to have that conversation. It's really tough. But I survive it every day. And you can too. You can. And you will. We will get through this, and one day it will be better. So just hang in there, please. So, aside from that little soapbox, that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching. And if you liked the video and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. There's the little bell there as well for notifications, so you know and get informed of any time that there's a new video put out. If you have questions, again, please, we want to make a video. My wife and I want to make a video where it's a Q&A. We can't do that without your questions, or concerns, or comments, or anything and everything. We just want to be able to interact together as a community with the two of us, and we're welcome to. We're hoping to do that for you. We're looking forward to doing that for you, and yeah, just need your help. And what else? I think that's it. Yeah, I'll catch you next time. Peace. What are you doing? It's blow high. It's apparently the trans mascot from IKEA, so I decided to get one. And my wife's just being goofy, like she is, which I love so much.
Transmate.
Oh!